hard to get close enough to do anything.
Yeah.
It's like my bio on Xbox Live says playing Modern Warfare 2 is like tying your shoes. Anyone can do it. No one cares how good you are at it.
Hey, I have a new topic. So I'm going to go to Wings of Redemption first because I'm guessing he's thought this through.
All right.
If you wanted to murder someone and get away with it, how would you go about doing it?
Oh, I know how I'd go about doing it.
I knew you would, baby. I knew you would. Go ahead, lay it on me.
I do too.
Well, the actual way of killing him, probably just shoot him. I mean, so subsequent plan was the whole idea is to cover it up. You want to keep the blood splatter to a minimum. You want to use a smaller caliber, like a .22 or something that will rattle around inside them, something that will bend over onto itself. Yep. After they're done, the way I would dispose of the body, there's a couple ways. The first one would be pigs. I don't know if you know this, but like a trial of full-grown pigs, say like 12 or 12 plus of them, can eat a human corpse in less than 2 hours.
Yeah.
Has
what about
hair,
the bones?
cartilage, bone. Another way to do it is go to a hardware store beforehand and get you some chain link fence, some cinder blocks, and some leather, like a nice sheet of leather. Wet the leather, wrap them up into it, power dry it with a blowgun, then put them in the chain link fence like a burrito, and basically tie meat to it, and sand it down, throw it in the murky river like the Pitch Landing or Little PD, something with black murky water full of mercury. It has gators in it. What's going to happen, even if the gators don't eat them, the body's going to erode with gas, and plop up and try to come to the top of the water, and eventually it's going to cut their body into little pieces from the chain link fence, and the gators and fish will eat it.
Oh, that's smart. Wow. I've actually thought of a way to do that too, but mine's a much more
this
way.
The leather basically, when leather is wet and you dry it real fast, it tightens up like an anaconda, and it'll break and shatter the bone.
Yep.
Well, I was gonna.
All right, Blaine, you're next. You got to talk. Yeah. It's not easy to top that.
Well, I mean, I've thought about it. I'm not crazy. I'm not like an angry guy or whatever. I don't have anyone I want to kill. But I mean, if I had to, like, what I would do is probably just use some. Like, let's say there was a guy lived in a neighborhood that wanted to kill him. I'd probably break into his neighbor's house, steal something he owns. For instance, maybe a machete he has, which has his fingerprints on it. Kill the guy with it, and then maybe sneak back into the dude's house and put the machete back in, his little house there, and he'd probably get blamed for it. And that's a pretty terrible thing to do, probably. But I mean,
But that's that.
All right, got
it.
Well, it depends on the situation. If I were in, I'm getting aimed. If I were in, like, say, Atlanta right now, like where I used to live, there's some high crime areas. Like I would lure the person to a certain area, or I would follow the person to they were in a certain area, and I just walk up behind them, shoot them in the back of the head, and drop the gun, and empty their pockets, make it look like a robbery, like a mugging or something. But where I live now is more of a rural area, so you don't get a lot of muggings here. So I would probably kidnap the person first at gunpoint and get them somewhere like where I am. I've got a ton of property, so I could get them out there. And it wouldn't really matter how you kill them. I'd probably just shoot them in the head and make sure I got the bullet out. And because you don't want forensics to come back on you with the bullet. Mm-hmm. But then I was thinking I would just burn the body. And I know it's you have to get pretty hot to incinerate people, but I've got an incinerator, so that should take care of it.
Citric acid would be a better way.
Huh. So mine's not nearly as sophisticated. It was pretty much get them into an unpopulated area, knife them with a knife you never put prints on, and then dispose of it. And disposing of a knife should be pretty straightforward. It's not like I'm going to drop it in some dumpster or my house is trash, but put it in deep water, and it'll never be found. And that should be that. I wouldn't even, like, Wings' idea involved, like, pigs or citric acid or a lot of, like, body disposal. And to me, I'm thinking leave the body, let them find it. Just don't leave any traces behind. If there's a knife...
Yeah, I'd be too paranoid, though.
I hear you, but to me, let them find the body, and just don't be tied to it, because I think that the process of, like, say, bringing a body back to my farm, feeding it to the pigs, now what do I have? I've got clothes with blood on it. I've got a trail with it. Are there forensics in my car? All that stuff.
With leather, son.
To me, keep this thing simple. Keep the guy in an area, puncture hole, and then leave him. I will make sure he's dead, by the way. If that takes 60 puncture holes, that's what it takes. But,
Yeah.
You gotta
tell you the Beatles told you to do it in the road, huh?
Yep. There you go.
There you go. But take him to an isolated area, use a knife, dispose of that knife completely, and you're good to go. I know there's clothes you got to get rid of too. I'm sure I get a blood.
And I remember, and I mean, you could always, like, if you really want to take somebody out, you could just shoot them from a long distance, in a populated area. Remember the DC sniper? They would have never caught those guys if they had just left after one or two.
Yep.
Yeah, just cut a hole in the trunk and lay the back seat down.
There you go. They weren't sophisticated. They were just sniping people out of their car in Outback Steakhouse parking lots and stuff.
Yeah, we call it sniping. They were using a Cart 15.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Bushmaster.
Yeah, I had their Bushmaster. I got a Bushmaster. There you go.
So what is it? Describe the gun to me. What is it, like a deer gun?
It's an AR-15.
No, it's a varmint gun, actually.
An AR-15? Is that what you said it was?
Pretty similar.
Okay.
It's a 223.
Yeah. Hey, how are their kill? I have a 223. What was the kill rate on that? Were there many survivors with that gun?
No, there were none.
Really?
Pretty sure
I think there was one, wasn't there?
There might have been one that survived, but it seems like they killed 16 people, right?
If you go to gun forums,
I don't think it was 16. I think it was like 6 or 7, but
they act like the 223 is a BB gun. If you're, like, on the internet, if you don't have an
it is for like
AK-47
penetration.
around,
But for killing people, that 223 will fuck you up because it bounces around inside of you.
I don't think so. I think it rips straight through you at 3,000 foot per second or something ridiculous like that.
Oh, no. It doesn't have enough energy to go straight through you. That's the reason it bounces around inside of you. It'll hit you and like curve in your body.
It might curve, but no way it's bouncing around and changing.
I'm not talking like fucking cartoons like bing 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 bing.
Yeah.
That's what you're picturing. I'm talking about hitting the muscle and like taking a jagged turn.
I could see
They
that.
killed 10 people, wounded 5.
Really?
Yeah.
That's why the M16 replaced the M14, 30 caliber versus the 5.56. 5.56 is the military standard of the 223, but it'll put you down. It will.
Yeah. Well, the other thing about the military
NATO's
standard, my understanding is a big part of it is carrying the bullets.
Yeah.
I'm sure all of them would rather have 50 cals at the very moment they're pulling the trigger. But the rest of their lives, when they're dragging that ammo through the woods in Vietnam, when they're dragging that ammo across the desert and whatever, when they have to carry that, when they can only have one clip on their pocket because it weighs 4 times what a 223 magazine would weigh, then that's a big deal. So they use these lighter bullets so that they can have more of them.
I hate to say it, I would take the extra weight for a 30 caliber over the 5.56, but the 5.56 does get the job done.
Well, here, let me say this. I read recently that almost all ammo in the military is used for suppressing fire. That something along the lines of they get a hit 1 out of every 75,000 bullets. That most of the time they fire rounds, it's just to make sure that person is hiding or keeping cover or staying away, or they fire rounds just to make to clear the path, suppressing fire. We know what that is. So you say, I'd rather have that heavy bullet. Well, keep in mind, most of these bullets aren't even for killing. They're just for keeping people hiding and letting them be there.
Well, I still rather have the heavy bullet, because if I get that hit out of that 75,000 rounds, he's dead. You ever seen what a 30 caliber does to flesh?
It's bad.
5-inch exit wound.
Yeah, I heard about some guy like in what was it? Was it Vietnam? Might have been Vietnam. Like they issued the M16s, I think, then real big, and he didn't want to use one and wanted to use an M14 because like the M16 rounds wouldn't kill a man. It just kind of like, what's the word?
Incapacitate him?
Incapacitate him, yeah, and they could still, it wasn't it wasn't a surefire kill or whatever, and he wanted to use like an M14, but yeah.
Just for sanity's sake, you shoot a guy with a 5.56, you're wondering the rest of your life if you killed him or not, because you don't go check.
Yeah.
You got 4 or 5 other guys on the line next to him shooting at you.
Yeah.
I mean, so you're wondering the rest of your life, did I kill some